The arrival of Zhu Yuan has definitely caused a lot of discussions within the player base, and there's a few important things that need to be addressed in this video. So, after some time had passed since Zhu Yuan's banner release, it seems like a lot of surprising things have been revealed, not just about her, but also provided a deeper insight about the community itself. I mean, look, to put it simply, the majority of players can agree that Zhu Yuan can deliver some serious damage, and right now, she is regarded as one of the most free-to-play friendly S-rank units in the game. All she needs is Anbi with Nicole, both of which you can obtain at the start of the game, and you're good to go. However, at the same time, some people feel the synergy between Zhu Yuan and Nicole is far too crucial, since Nicole without Zhu Yuan isn't really a super popular choice for endgame content, and the same could be said vice versa. So, does that mean you should only pull for Zhu Yuan if you're ready to invest into Nicole? Well, it depends. There are a couple of important things that need to be considered when looking at Zhu Yuan's overall performance, which I'll talk about in a moment, but at the same time, I also want to explain to you why exactly Zhu Yuan is regarded as this godlike free-to-play unit. But before we get into that, this video is sponsored by Honkai Impact 3rd. That's right, I'm here to talk about the flagship Hoyoverse game. If you didn't know, in 2024, Honkai Impact 3rd underwent some major changes, and an entirely new story is now happening in Part 2, but characters like Kiana and Mei have returned. So this is a great chance for veterans and newbies alike to start learning more about this new Honkai-verse story. But there are also twists. Old characters Bronya and Raiden Mei are back and meet the new cast on the moon in the latest story, and this reunion was triggered by none other than Kiana. Now, if that's not enough, a ton of changes have been made to the game. For example, the iconic team-based gameplay now has aerial combat, which also supports free jumping in the air, and obviously this opens up a new layer of strategy. And currently, version 7.6 is live, and you can go challenge the new boss called Perception, the Overlord of Shadows, and the fight looks quite amazing. But if you're into collecting cute gacha units, a new battlesuit, Shadow Dimmer, for the beloved Songchua is now available. And on top of that, the first 10 pulls will cost 50% less. And there's also a cute side event. Ano was revived by Teresa to help her with doing tasks like playing war chess and collecting various costumes for free. So make sure to download Honkai Impact 3rd by using my link in the description, and don't forget to use code SHADOWSHOW to redeem a free Songchua trial card and 2,888 Asterite. Most importantly, you'll also help support my channel, so check out Honkai Impact 3rd now. Okay, so what's the situation with Zhu Yuan's team comps? Well, if we take a look at the popular Anbi, Nicole, and Zhu Yuan team, it basically has everything you would ever want in the current meta. Both Nicole and Anbi are given away for free at the start of the game, and they both provide superb value. Since there's only a few stunners in the game right now, Anbi is the only A-rank stunner, and she can do the job pretty well. And then there's Nicole. Her enhanced attacks, or the energy field, will shred the enemy's defense by a massive amount, and at the same time, her additional ability will also increase everyone's ether damage by 25%. And the thing about Nicole, she's very cheap to build. Just raise her level and unlock the C node of her core skill, and she's good to go. But if you have the Volt W engine, then it will be even better, since this weapon will boost the team's damage, and on top of that, putting on her Swing Jazz force set is going to be an even bigger boost. So in other words, she provides a ton of value for boosting Zhu Yuan's damage, which is pretty amazing for a starter unit. But with that being said, it's pretty clear that Zhu Yuan doesn't care that much for Anbi. It's Nicole she wants. Because the thing is, you can switch out Anbi with pretty much any other stunner. Sure, they won't be able to activate their additional abilities if playing with Nicole, which is a bit of a sad situation if we look at someone such as Lycon, who can massively boost the damage with increased stun multiplier. But what can you do? Well, actually, there is something you can do. You see, so far, every single agent was only able to activate their additional ability by either sharing the same attribute or faction with another agent. However, in Zhu Yuan's case, she will activate her additional ability by having a support role unit on the team, and you definitely want that ability to be active, since it provides a big boost to her overall damage. Still, if all she needs is a support, then there's actually quite a few teams you can go for. For example, Kalita and Lucy will both activate activate each other's additional abilities. And this team right now, I would say, isn't as good as the one with Nicole due to the current Shiyu defense cycle, but it's still pretty awesome. Lucy can provide a beefy attack boost, while Kalita can be the stunner. On the other hand, you could also go for Lycon and Sokaku. Obviously, not recommending this if you already have Ellen Joe, but this is a strong team that will utilize both corruption and freeze anomalies. Or if we go outside the comfort zone, there's also Grace and Rina team comp. Sure, there's no stunner in the team, but Grace can apply a ton of electric anomaly on enemies, while Rina as a support can provide a ton of value such as boosting the pen ratio. Still, right now, Nicole is an extremely good unit to pair with Zhu Yuan, just because of how much synergy they both can achieve. And this synergy especially is important when it comes to clearing the current Shiyu defense, since the last few nodes have hardest enemies weak to Ether, and on top of that, Ether damage is also boosted in general. Most importantly, a lot of build guides suggest to go for a Chaotic Metal 4 set, and well, this disc drive set kinda relies on inflicting corruption on enemies, which is the anomaly unique to Ether units, and without Nicole, this would happen a lot less, meaning Chaotic Metal set would not be great in other teams without Nicole. On the flip side, you could then go for a Woodpecker 4 set, which is designed for catch-all situations. But the thing about Chaotic Metal set, it's located in a domain where you can also farm for Swing Jazz, a set that basically every support unit will want. So in other words, you will spend the battery charge very efficiently by farming this domain, since both disc drive drops can be utilized by Zhu Yuan and any support role unit, including Nicole. So overall, Ether attribute is thriving right now, and by pulling Zhu Yuan, you're definitely gaining an advantage over some of the endgame challenges, such as Shiyu defense. And while the variation of team comps can be a bit restrictive with her due to how good she is with Nicole, this might change in the future when Ether won't be the favorite attribute, and then you can easily put Zhu Yuan into any of the other comps I've mentioned, especially when one of those attributes will be favored. Still, one question remains: just how good is Zhu Yuan, and what could we expect from future characters? Well, the future is murky to say the least. So far, we know that Miyabi was available during the first closed beta test, but now in the global version, she's only been showing up in some Hollow Zero cutscenes. And from what I can tell, based on Hoyo's drip marketing, the 1.1 version most likely will have these 3 new units. Jane Doe, a Thyran who I think is either a rat or a mouse. Then there's Qingyi, who tags alongside Zhu Yuan in the story, and most likely will be from the same faction as Zhu Yuan. And then there's this guy, Seth, who I believe is also going to be from the same police faction. But the thing is, not much has been revealed about these new units, at least officially. So in the meantime, let me give you an overview of why Zhu Yuan right now is considered to be super free-to-play friendly. Well, first of all, the team comp. I've already covered that. But then there's the Starlight engine. It's a 4-star W engine that actually performs so well that most theory crafters found it to be about 5 to 10% worse than the signature Riot suppressor. And even then, another S-rank W engine, Brimstone, it's about as good or slightly better than fully refined Starlight engine. And the thing is, you can just keep crafting this Starlight engine by gathering the chips from the weekly bosses, which is really nice. But then there's the damage bonuses. 28.8% crit damage from her core skill, up to 53% crit damage from the Chaotic Metal disc drive set. And then 30% free critical rate bonus when she triggers EX, Chain, or Ultimate. And this is the additional ability I was talking about, which is insane. Not only that, but the 5th slot of the disc drive can be either Ether or Attack. The difference is very small, like 3 to 5% if using Starlight engine, and almost no difference when using the signature weapon. On top of all of this, her movement is very fluid. She has good amount of invincibility frames, combos can be created in quite a few different ways, and her main rotation, which unloads all of the bullets from suppressive attacks, it can dish out some insane damage when utilizing all of the buffs. So yeah, overall, right now, it's pretty insane to see such a good unit this early into the game's launch. And because she's also from the Ether attribute, a lot of the enemies in the game, such as the Ballet Twins, Dead End Butcher, and basically all of the Ether mutants, all of them are weak to Ether damage, which makes Zhu Yuan especially good against them. Anyway, I hope you found this video interesting. Sorry I didn't have the time to make Zhu Yuan guide video. I've been very sick and just trying to recover, but I still wanted to add some insight about her. Thanks for watching, and I'd appreciate it if you could press the like button and check out today's sponsor to help support my channel. Thanks again, and see you next time.